tribe, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andree. If you haven't been here before, hi, welcome. You're probably wondering where I've been when it comes to this hair transplant update. I'm sorry, I just haven't been able to get a hang of myself. Like, it's been super busy, and I'll talk about that in another video. But to keep this video brief, straight to the point, and all of that jimmy jazz, I'm here to talk about my hair transplant and what has happened in the last 6 months. So if you guys have been on this journey with me, you will know that on TikTok, on Instagram, I've been updating everybody on what's been going on. I've been giving monthly updates, sometimes bi-weekly updates, talking about what I found, what I didn't find. But the one place I haven't talked about it very much is YouTube. I have done 2 shorts or 3 shorts with updates as well, but for those that like longer content, they just haven't had a proper long sit down update. So grab a cup of tea, I'm gonna have a hot chocolate, and we can get on with it. I'm gonna put on either side of the screen some sort of a contents list so you can go to the places that you would like to go in the video, so you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to. I would appreciate if you do, but if you want specific things, I will note them on the side for you. Okay, so let's get started. The first question that everyone asks me is, do I think it was a success? I do. I love it. I think it was worth my time. It was worth the pain. It was worth the whole year. I still think I'm on a journey, but in terms of, is my hair able to wear out? Am I happy with it? I am. It's fantastic. I love it. This is by far more than I expected. I don't really know how to describe it. I just didn't know what to expect. I kept my expectations real low, but I knew it was going to work. I just didn't know how much it was going to work. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. I can wear my hair out. I'm really happy with the turnaround. I'm really happy with my hairline. I'm really happy with all of it. I don't have a single regret. Yeah, so if that's what you came here for in terms of the video, then you can stop right here, because for me it was 100% a success. So one of the things I want to address, which I don't know, I feel like I mentioned it in my first ever video, but I will mention it in this video, is that I did not have enough donor area to cover the transplant area. So again, I'm gonna have pictures and everything so that you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But when I did my hair transplant, it was mainly for this area here, but I also had thinning in my crown, and it went as far back as like back here, and they were only able to do my transplant till about, I would say, halfway through. So I still had this area to cover, and that's where I did my PRP, because I wasn't sure whether I was gonna do a part 2. I didn't know if that was what was in the cards for me. I didn't know if I wanted to sacrifice another 6 months, wear wigs for 6 months. I didn't know if I wanted to do that. And also, I have mentioned this before, where I've said that I will go to a trichologist and see what can be done. I am not really interested in being on long-term medication. So that was one of the reasons why I went for a hair transplant anyway, because I didn't want to be on a long-term, like for the rest of my life I would have to take certain products to keep my hair growing, because if I didn't, they would drop out. Like, I was not interested in that, and I'm still not interested in that. So if it's a thing of I have to have some partial thinning, I'm happy to do that, because the major areas that I wanted to get sorted are sorted. And then I will think about if I want to do another transplant to cover this area once I see a trichologist. I haven't seen anyone yet, so it's very hard for me to say that, but I have had really good growth in that area from PRP treatments, which I will also section off in the video. One thing I want to be brutally honest about is hair transplant is not easy. It's a journey, and my goodness, you need to have patience. Some might even call it traumatizing, you know, like it's not easy. From month 6, I definitely saw a very big difference between month 3 and month 6. I feel like month 5 is when I started seeing the hair feeling a lot more. Month 6 is when I was like, okay, this is going somewhere. And as you guys know, I had at that point shaved it down. So I shaved it down to I want to say like a level 3. And when you have a transplant, you're not allowed to do you're not allowed to shave for 6 months. So a lot of my shaving was air shaving, so I never actually touched my scalp. I just used to shave my hair just down a little bit in the areas where I felt my hair was not matching the front of my hair. So my hairline, sorry. So by month 6, by month 7, 2 things had happened. So the back, my donut area, fully grown back. I think I can turn around and show you guys. So this area is where my donut area was, and it's all grown back. On the side, you can also see, I feel like this is my most successful side. So this is the side that was actually not the worst side, but the side that I thought would have the most problems. This side was my worst side. So yes, this is my side. This is my front area. And I have got a more intricate video where I zoom in a little bit more. And this is my other side. This is my left side, which is my finer side. And you can see I still have some filling in to go in, but really and truly, I'm really happy with the fall. This is where I'm concentrating my PRP treatments, like this area and my crown. I also want to note here that I did my hair transplant on my hairline, and I didn't do it in my crown because I didn't have enough grafts. So I did a 2,500 grafts transplant because I didn't have enough hair. My hair is medium to fine in some areas, so they told me that they could not pluck anymore because that could risk in hair loss. And I really appreciate that, because I've known about places that over harvest, which is why I really love Longevita. I think that they just did a brilliant job, and they kind of nipped it in the bud. When I was like, oh please go and get some more, they were like, no sis, you're not going to get any more. At this point, I do not know if I'm going to go for another transplant to fill in that area. I'm doing PRP and I'm going to see it through to see if it works in that area. So far it has. My thinning is down, I think like 60% in that area, and honestly it doesn't really bother me that much. The areas that bother me are the areas that are done. So in that sense, I'm really happy with what my hair is doing, how it's coping, and what's going on at this point. So month 7 was the time when I felt like my hair was growing, and that was also the point where I was like, maybe I should start wearing my hair out. So around month like 7.5 going on 8, I think coming up to the end of month 7, I decided to wear my hair out. I think I was like moving towards wearing another wig, and I knew that I was ready to wear my hair out because I was changing up my wigs so much during that period of time, so much that I knew that was like an internal scream to wear my hair out. Because if you guys know me, I love wearing my hair out. That is where I feel the most comfortable. It's where I feel like I have the most control. It's one of the reasons why I decided to get a hair transplant in the first place. Please ignore this immense light that I'm getting. So annoying. As I was saying, month 7 was where I felt the most comfortable. It's where I felt like something was happening. So month 7 is the time when I was like, you know what, I feel like I can wear my hair out. And it was coming up to like the bridge before 7 and 8. So I always get messed up with these dates because I didn't really like do a video the day that I decided to wear my hair out. But I'm pretty sure it was like a week before 8 months. I was trying on a wig. I was gonna wear a big curly wig and I was so excited about it. And I just said, let me try and wear my hair out. Let me see if I can just do it. So I washed my hair, put some foam in it, I set it, and then the next day I went to work, and I just thought, whatever happens today will kind of decide what happens next, if I'm gonna pop a wig on, or if, you know, like, we'll see, isn't it? Now, one of the other reasons why I did that to my hair was because my afro was growing, my wigs were starting to look a little high, and I was having to set my hair really flat underneath the wigs, and I didn't want to have to do so much work. I'm an easygoing gal. So I was like, you know what? We need to go back to the simple times, okay? So that's when I decided, let me do this. So when I did it, and then I went to work, and I remember Abby, my colleague, was like, oh, you wore your hair out, it looks nice. And I thought, and she said it like I'd been wearing my hair out every single day. And honestly, I already knew that morning when I looked at myself in the mirror that I was going to wear my hair out. But when she said it, it was like, oh, thank you. And then that was it. I haven't worn a wig since. And I'm super, super happy about it. I also felt like, you know, my hair was going to have all the time to thrive because it was seeing daylight, it was doing whatever. And like a plant, it will flourish, you know. So yeah, so since then, I've been wearing my hair out again. I was a little bit nervous about my light areas, and I can honestly say to you that I think at that point I stopped caring. I was like, I can see that my hair transplant was a success. I can actually physically see it for myself. I can see the patches filling in. I can see that my confidence is building, because there was no way 3 months before that I would have just worn my hair out because there was just not enough hair. So just the fact that I was like, I can wear my hair out, I knew that it was a success. So yeah, so month 8 was brilliant. I was wearing my hair out and loving it and playing around with what does my hair actually like. I was a natural for over 30 years, but I was always protective styling, and that could be twists. And it wasn't always with extensions. I just didn't really wear my hair out like that. There was a period of 1.5 years where I wore my hair out, but I just never felt like my hair could be worn in a wash and go style well. I didn't feel like my curls popped, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I wanted to dedicate this new time and new era in getting to know my hair again and making sure that I get the definition that I want without seeking the help of anything else. I'm not the biggest fan of a relaxer on my hair when it's longer, because I've got quite fine hair and my hair presses really easily. So when it comes to chemicals, I only did them for a pixie cut, because as lovely as my hair is, a pixie cut just requires way too much heat. So a relaxer was just the easy way for me to go about things. But in its natural form, I know that at some point I'm going to do a texture release if I want to grow my hair out. But right now I'm really enjoying having a pixie afro and just letting my hair do what it wants to do and playing around with different shapes. So that's what this part of the journey started being about. So month 9 is when I just noticed that my hair was just thriving. Like areas that I thought were a bit slow started picking up, and it was the same for month 10, 11. By 11 I was like, okay, I feel like this is the growth. I feel like any more growth that I get now will be through me actively doing something about it. But this is the transplant now. Like the transplant done what it needs to do. And to be honest, my hair was much longer than this. And then at 11 months, or just the day before it was a year, I then went to Mariam, who is also my lovely colleague, and she cut this shape for me. I was like, I'm ready for a lovely pixie shape. I want a round shape. I want to grow the top, and I want to play around with my hair a little bit more. So cut my hair. I'd cut my hair myself up until that point, and I said, now I feel like I can have the hairdresser experience. If I want to colour it, if I want to do anything, I'm going to sit in the hairdresser's chair and I'm going to experience my hair and enjoy it the way my guests enjoy me doing their hair. So that's where we are at. A year post, really happy. I don't think there's anything else that I need to fill you in on, but I will talk about my PRP treatment. So I've been getting PRP in my crown area specifically. I've been getting it all over my hair, including my donut area, but I've been specifically targeting the crown area because that's the part I didn't receive any hair transplant. I had thinning in this area, which my mum also has, and my mum also had thinning in her temples. So we had very similar like thinning, apart from obviously me talking about my hairline was more traction alopecia, which happened when I was very, very young, and it didn't help that I had bad practices when I was a teenager, i.e. doing my extensions myself. And it wasn't until I became a hairdresser that I really knew what damage I had done to my hair. And like I said, I've always had this thing where I felt like my alopecia wasn't that bad. Yes, my edges were thin, but I could pretty much pull off any hairstyle I wanted to. I could sort of mascara the areas that were a little bit thin because I had 2 prominent bald patches. But after, like I said, my teens and just not looking after my hair, it just got worse. But again, I could kind of disguise it a little bit and it was fine. Once I became a hairdresser, I was more educated on my hair and I stopped doing everything that could possibly ruin my hair. So that included like any pressure hairstyles. I only did wigs if I needed to. But what I think kind of sped along my hair thinning in this crown area was continuing to do cane rows when I was having like rest periods of my hair, or protective styling when I was protective styling and doing wigs. So it wasn't the wigs themselves, it was the cane rows underneath. So I want to be specific because a lot of people are like, if you weren't wearing wigs, yes, I'm sure that wigs do thin your hair, but that wasn't the case for me. Like the damage was done. But I still had edges, and a lot of the time when I wore my wigs, my edges actually thrived. They grew back as much as they possibly could. I would say they grew up about 50%. What happened, and that was because I wore silk in my wigs, and I will do a video showcasing you how I did that. So my edges were always kind of okay. Not the best at all, but I was able to camouflage the bits. Like the areas that weren't that damaged were kind of salvaged. Like I wasn't getting any worse, if that makes any sense. So I always had the thinning here, and then I had the thinning around here. But you know, as long as my hair was long enough, it will cover the bits that were really bad. And that's how it always been. Like it was stagnant for years until I had my kids. Now this area thinning started happening when I was maybe 21, and it got worse because I continuously came with my hair in a specific way. And though my cane rows weren't tight, it was the continuous cane rows that pulled my hair in that direction. That's where I got my thinning, and that's where my thinning got worse. So I really want to specify that because I get so many like comments on my page about how it was just big assumptions, saying that it was relaxers, it was this, it was that, and we will never know. But I know when I started noticing my thinning more, and around the times I noticed it wasn't so much around the relaxer, and I never relaxed my hair for such long periods of time where it could cause such damage. So I just wanted to make that clear. And that being said, once I noticed that my hair was so bad, I kind of switched and stopped doing cane rows under my wigs. I just wore my hair in its natural form. So if it was in a pixie cut, I just used to wrap it flat and wear my wigs on top. So for at least quite a long period of time, I'd done that once I saw what damage it had done to my hair. But again, I always felt like it just wasn't that bad, do you know? And I feel really silly about it now, because now when I see any one of my guests with it, I'm like, you need to go and see a dermatologist, because this could be the thing that saves your hair. So to anyone out there, if you have thinning, if you have alopecia, if you have long-term alopecia, if you have anything, CCCA, go to see a dermatologist. A hairdresser cannot help you grow back your hair with oils, ointments or anything. Go and see a dermatologist. Go and see a dermatologist, because I tried the oils, I tried everything, none of them worked, because guess what, they were clogging up my pores. I cannot talk about this enough. So yeah, just go and see a professional that specifies in that area before you do anything. And I really think that if you know it's traction alopecia, if you know you can do something about it, do something about it before it's too late. And so at the beginning of my PRP treatments, I felt like this area was really light and I didn't know where that was going to go. So I will show you pictures of what happened in month 1 to 6 of my PRP treatments. There's like maybe 2 months in between that where, because I was doing it every 6 weeks, there was like a month where I skipped because I travelled and it was a really busy period, but I pretty much kept up with it. And for me, PRP treatments have made a massive difference. And the reason why I say they made a massive difference because I did it in the area that did not receive a hair transplant. So I can say with confidence, I feel like after maybe my 4th one is when I saw the change for me. I can't say that I noticed it massively in the first 3 tries, but after that 4th one, I was like, this is working. And I will be upkeeping PRP treatments even if I get put on some sort of medication. Now, again, like I said, I will be going to see a trichologist to see if there's anything that can be done or if there's anything to do. I just want to make sure that whilst I'm at the end of this journey, I'm really at the end and there's nothing really going on. There's nothing, there's nothing else I need to do. So I'm just going to go and have a consultation. Once I do, I'll take you guys on that journey with me and you can see the results as well with me. Right, in this section, I'm going to answer some of my most frequently asked questions about the hair transplant. Number 1, do I have to cut my hair to do it? For me, yes. My hair was about this length when I got my transplant. So, and what happens at the transplant? They shave the part that needs to receive the transplant. They shave the donor area, which is where they're gonna take the hair from to put the transplant in this area. So you are literally left with a sliver of hair here and hair here. I would have looked like Angelica's doll Cynthia from the Rugrats had I kept my hair in the state that it was. So I absolutely needed to shave my hair. I know a lot of people who didn't shave their hair and because they had long hair were able to camouflage it. So no, you do not have to shave your hair, but I did. Second question I always get, was it painful? Girl, it was painful. And the procedure itself wasn't painful. Longevita, I got given Xanax about 5 minutes before the actual procedure, which didn't really kick in for about 20 minutes. What was painful for me were the injections. The local anesthetic injections at the back of the head, specifically in this area, was super painful. And I felt the pain for about the first 10 injections. So they do quite a lot of injections in the area to numb the area. And after 10, I stopped feeling it. But the first 10 is excruciating. Very painful. 0 out of 10. And then it was pretty much when they were plucking it out, I kind of fell asleep. I woke up again when they had to inject my hairline, and as you can imagine, that was very painful. Yes, very painful again. But because I was in a relaxed sort of mode and the Xanax had kicked in, I would say it wasn't as painful as when I got it at the back of my head, but still painful. And that pretty much is like as painful as it got. And again, if you watch my second video, I think the month after, I talk about how I itched like a child. I itched. My hair itched so badly. And that for me was worse than the pain. Like, it itched so much. I wanted to cut my head and throw it in a bin. I wanted to cut my scalp and throw it in the bin because that ish was something else, and that was for a solid month. So I feel like it started about 2 weeks in after the transplant and carried on to about 2 months post procedure. So yeah, that wasn't great. But again, aloe vera is the thing that got me through. I'll put the brand that I use on the side. It was fantastic. I had it in the fridge and in the freezer, and the coldness is what actually helped soothe me, but it gave like a prickly feel before that happened. But aloe vera was a godsend for me. Another like bit of confusion that I get is, if my transplant costs $1,250, does my PRP also cost $1,250? And no, it costs £200. I go to Late Night Beauty Salon. They are amazing. Try them. I've had 6 sessions there. They do packages where you can do more than 1 session. Again, love the girls. I get a little bit of a discount personally because I'm a regular and I do loads of treatments with them as they're an aesthetics salon. So please go, tell them I sent you. I don't have a code or anything. Just tell them Marie sent you, okay? I will say this, the price has changed since I've had my transplant. So it used to be 1,250, it is now 1,650. I have a code with the team, and they saw, you know, that the sort of responses I got, and I thought, why not just, if you guys want to use the link, you can use the link. It gives you £100 off, and you can use it to your heart's pleasure. And if you want to have a chit chat with someone that actually knows exactly what they're talking about, other than me, where I'm giving you what my experience was, it's best to speak to them. And the lady that I went to was Yasmin and her team. Now, when I say that Yasmin and her team, it's because I had my consultation with Yasmin, but there were two males that actually did my transplant. So Yasmin didn't actually do my transplant. It was a team of 2 males, and another lady whose name I did not get either. She was the one that gave my injections, the low anesthetic injections, and also plucked out my donor area. So it was a team of people, guys, and I think the whole place is Yasmin's clinic, so you're going to be looked after by Yasmin. I don't know if she does some people's transplant, but she didn't specifically do mine, but she did design my hairline. Hope that. Another question that I always get is, will I relax my hair again? Personally, I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is the beginning of a new life for me. I want to see where my hair goes. I want to see what I can do with my hair. And this time round, I know so much more. I know what to do, what not to do. And I will never play with my hair the way I did before. So knowing what I know now, I wouldn't do any chemical service to my hair unless I want to go back to a pixie relaxer style. So if I want to go back to a pixie straight style, you will 100% see me with relaxed hair. But anything else, I know I can achieve with natural hair, because there's so much out there. I'll probably do a texture release if I want to have a bob or anything like that. But as it stands, will I be doing anything like that? No, I don't think I'm going to relax my hair, texturize my hair, or anything like that as it stands. But I will never say never, okay? Last question is, people always ask me about my hairline. Now, I know that the reason people do not like hair transplants is because of the rounded hairline you can get. My hairline is very full, and I'm going to explain why. When Yasmin designed my hairline, she went for quite a rounded shape. Now, I'm quite particular about my hairline. I dug deep. I went to baby pictures. I looked at my hairline. My hairline was actually down here somewhere, believe it or not. And I had quite a few baby hairs. So what I did is I kind of zigzagged, almost how you cut a frontal. I kind of zigzagged my hairline a little bit, so that, and I went just a teeny tiny bit behind my, like a millimeter behind the hairline that I saw. But because they went over my baby hair, so I had quite, like, this area here was baby hairs, so they kind of just flushed forward. Now, because that area was filled, I no longer have baby hairs. These are full-grown adults that I'm forcing into this position, but because of that, it means that this area is a lot more thicker and prominent than it used to be. Because when you have a transplant, you don't get to tell parts of your hair to grow a certain way. It all just grows that way. So that's like the only thing that I didn't think of. And when it happened, I was like, oh shoot, I don't have baby hairs anymore. So when my hair is completely naked and back, it looks very, very full. I think when it was shorter, it looked extremely like boxed. But as soon as it started growing in, my baby hair started coming through a little bit. It looked a lot more natural. So that's something for you guys to consider. I don't know how you're going to go about it, but tracing of the hairline is very, very important. And you should try and have a little bit of a hand in it. Try and look at baby pictures. Try and see what kind of hairline you want to have. Look at your hairline as it is. If you want to keep baby hair, go behind your hairline so that it doesn't disrupt your hairline too much. Apart from that, there's nothing, I mean, it doesn't bother me, because when I look back on my photos, this is the hairline. I had a very thick hairline. So I don't mind what that looks like, but I just thought it was something that I'll mention. I I'm not one to recommend anything to anyone because I don't think I have the power to. This whole process was to show black people, people of color, that yes, we can have hair transplants. We can reverse something that has knocked our confidence. We can do something about it. So that was all this journey was about. I knew that it was something that I could do, but I noticed that not many people did. So this was just to show and share awareness on the fact and see what the true results are. Again, like I said, when I started looking at this journey, I only saw 2 black women with this treatment. So I'm putting it out there so that if anyone is thinking about doing it, you can see someone like me has had it and it's worked and I'm happy. And that's it. I think I've covered everything about this hair transplant. What I will say is I will do a question and answers, which I will put up on my Instagram, and you guys can ask me anything you want to ask me about my transplant, anything that I may not have mentioned. But so far, do I think it's a success? Yeah, I do. I don't have any regrets. So yeah, so that's it. I hope this video makes sense. I hope that, you know, you've learned something from this. If you have any questions, again, I will do another video. I will do updates. But from this, I don't think I'm going to do another update until next year, really and truly. But I will take you on any journey or any PRP treatments that I have. So what I will do is I will take you on my next PRP treatment at Late Night Beauty with Ruby, and I will take you also on my visit to see my trichologist. So I will keep this series going, but you're not going to get updates as much because pretty much I gave you the updates that I said I was going to give. And if you have any questions or whatever you may have, I would definitely be updating or saying anything, or if you have any direct questions, Instagram is the best way and the best place to get me because it's a lot more interactive. TikTok as well, I'm happy to do short videos about these things on there. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I hope that this video has helped. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Thank you so much for watching again, and I will see you on my next video. Okay, bye.